Now, thoughts on Clippers' 4-game win streak. They have been on a heater. They couldn't make it 5 games. Very, very soon with how they're playing. They're facing the Hawks tonight. Need Kawhi to get over 26.5. I think it's coming. They have wins, but not really like great wins. They've beaten the Spurs, Mavericks, Lakers, and Spurs again. But they're taking care of business. They're 12-0 this season against the bottom dweller teams.
Good.
They're 12-0 against the Hornets, Pistons, Rockets, and Spurs. And during this stretch, Kawhi and PG are averaging a combined 27.2 points per game on 63, on 63, 48, 92 splits. So what are your thoughts, Riv, on the Clippers right
boys.
now?
Let's hear it, man. Push it.
I think they just, it's interesting because I forgot who said it, but they talked about they had a team meeting after a particular loss. I think it was the Denver loss. They had a team meeting about that loss. And they just said they got to lock in. They pretty much made it simple. Yo, let's stop fucking losing. And they locked it. No, pardon me. And you mentioned it. It hasn't been against great teams, but the concentration on these last few games has been very important. The connection between the guys, Paul George and Kawhi getting back to form, I think that's important. Them being healthy, I think that's the most important for the first time in a while. They have most of their guys playing, so I think because that's always been an issue for them, health. Offensively, just being more in tune, being more in sync. Before this year, before January started, they were one of the worst offenses in the league, but defensively they were amazing. Now just finding their tune, getting in sync, mainly because Kawhi is figuring out, Paul George is getting back, and they now are playing him at the point guard position. They start Terrence Mann because the point guard position has been pretty messed up for them. Reggie Jackson and John Wall haven't really found that dynamic, haven't made it very easy for them. So they're deciding to go with T-Man, Paul George, just a wing lineup, defend, have Paul George play the one, and that just goes to show about his creation on offense and his ability to get his players involved. But Clippers figuring out at the right time. You got to start figuring out, especially before All-Star break. You got to start logging in some wins. They're a game behind the Pelicans, I believe, and that's an important chance to maybe lock up a 4th seed, get higher in the standings. But this is just a good win. I mean, tonight, if they win this game, it would just be keep moving forward, moving forward. And that's what they have to do. They have to stay focused, stay locked in.
You play the games on your schedule. Yes, they're on a 5-game heater or should be on a 5-game heater depending on the outcome of this game. And you play who's on your schedule. Simple as that. I'd never knock someone for going on a win streak. Like when the Grizzlies went on an 11-game win streak, are we going to knock them for who they played? No, we're not going to do that. Ironically, the Grizzlies have lost, 5 in a row since then? But to talk about the Clippers and why they are so interesting now is because you spoke about it a little bit, but I was expecting you to go into the deep dive victory lap a little bit. Kawhi Leonard, what he's been doing these last 9 games has been unbelievable.
If you're a Kawhi fan, you don't celebrate regular seasons.
That's pretty accurate. I don't disagree. But why it's something to celebrate is because he struggled to start, no doubt. And it was very evident. But it was a matter of him getting his legs underneath him. When Kawhi is healthy, you never doubt his ability. And the last 9, he's averaging 29 points per game, 7 rebounds, about 4 assists, shooting 56% from the field, 45% from 3, and 91% from the free throw line. What he's been doing in this stretch of games has been Kawhi Leonard, and honestly better than what we've seen from Kawhi Leonard. This efficiency is insane, shooting from everywhere on the court. It does not matter. Kawhi Leonard is finishing with high efficiency, and it's leading to the Clippers playing winning basketball. The one thing you can say about the Clippers and why people are hesitant on them in 2023 is for the fact that what history has shown us. When Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are on the court together, that is a team that you can't sleep on. Simple as that. Their talent, the two of them together, has never been in question. What has always been at the forefront of the Clippers is health, and whether you can rely on these two guys to be there when you need them most. Now, Kawhi Leonard, unfortunately, last year missed the entire year, and then the year before that goes down right before they reached the Western Conference Finals. They were able to close that series out without Kawhi Leonard. Speaks to the depth that the Clippers have. But how much better they are with Kawhi Leonard is just so evident when he's there versus when he's not. And you're seeing it now. They're a top 5 seed while they're finally getting healthy and they're finally getting going. I'm hesitant to go all in because of the history that they have with injuries. But it just should not – it's a pretty obvious statement, or it should be obvious that if these guys are healthy, this is a team you have to look out for. But I understand if you want to use caution. But simple as this, when these two guys are together, the Clippers are a team to beat.
They're doing a lot of that off defense too. This offense has been struggling. They're 28th in points, but they're top 10 defense, at top 3, it says here, in opponent points per game. So a lot of it has been on the defensive end. I mean, you talked about how great of a defender Paul George has been this season. We obviously know the capabilities Kawhi has. This team's been kind of inconsistent though all year, right? They've gone on this win streak, but just a couple weeks ago they did have a 6-game losing streak. I think Paul George might have missed a few of those games. But it does go to show when you play the easier opponents, like Drew said, you should be winning these games, right? The fact that some of these games are coming against the Spurs and the Lakers pre-AD and stuff like this, it's games you're expecting this Clippers team to win, especially if you're a Clippers fan who thinks you could really make a push in the playoffs. I do hesitate to really get behind this team. I said a couple months ago that I was out on them. I was just out on the drama and the nonsense, and not drama, I should say, but just the constant injuries, the baggage that comes with this team. That's a great word to use. And even though Ty Lue is a fantastic coach, I mean, there's really only so much you could do when your best player being Kawhi Leonard. You really don't know in any given day, any given week, is he going to be able to play today? Is he not going to be able to? I know Kawhi wants to play. When he's out there and he's healthy, he's going to be playing and he's going to be one of the best players in basketball. But this Clippers team and the organization has taken a very long-term approach, which I think is the right move with Kawhi Leonard, being very cautious, not letting him always play in back-to-backs and giving him load management, which has obviously caused a bunch of uproar over the years. But I think at the very least, you should be positive, right? In the beginning of January and in December, you were on that 6-game losing streak. Things weren't looking so bright. And now you come back and you have a 4-game win streak. You do go on the road for the next 5 or 6 games, but with some winnable games at the Hawks, at the Bulls, at the Knicks, maybe the Nets without KD. But for this Clippers team to really make a statement, I think it's going to be having big wins over the West, being able to beat the Grizzlies, having wins over the Warriors, and really showing that they could win in a 7-game series. Because once playoff comes around, it's obviously not the same than you just having these little 4-game win streaks. You can win 4 games in the regular season. It's completely different being able to win 4 games in a row or 4 games at all in the playoff series. So it's good that they're healthy, but they still need to prove more to me, especially in the West, that they could take down the top dogs.
I looked at top 5
you
duels.
ripping ass, and that's why you
No, I was
muted your
eating.
mic?
That's why.
Got it.
In terms of top 5 duels, from a plus-minus standpoint, number 1 is Jokic and Aaron Gordon. Number 2 is Zion and B.I. Number 3 is Harden and Embiid. Number 4 is Moran and Jaren Jackson Jr. And number 5 is Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I think this 4-game win streak is nice. The Clippers have outscored opponents by 100-plus points in about 500 minutes together with Kawhi and PG. But I have some worries about them because it doesn't feel like they have much lineup continuity. They have some rotation mainstays that are always getting minutes, like Kawhi, PG, Zubac, Morris, Batum, Reggie Jackson, Norman Powell. That right there is 7 players. And then outside of those 7 players, you still have John Wall, Terrence Mann, Luke Kennard, Rocco, who, are they going to get into rotation or not? Mm-hmm. And their backup center right now is Moses Brown, and that's a huge problem.
No, he stinks.
Yeah. Kennard has been out of the rotation, and he's
back in now.
But he's their best spot-up shooter. They need him.
You mentioned Wall, right, who's been out?
John Wall, yeah. But I don't think the John Wall's experiment has worked this far. I don't think so.
No,
I think
I'm with you.
That at this point, they can't really count on him for like a playoff series. I think they should look to upgrade at that position. Terrence Mann's minutes have been inconsistent.
Let him get healthy, and then we can really see that statement.
And they've been experimenting with Terrence Mann at point guard, and that really hasn't worked out. And Robert Covington just recently got back into the rotation, and he's had 6 blocks in the last 3 games. And the best thing about Rocco, and why it was kind of questionable why he wasn't in rotation, was that he's crucial to small ball lineups. Because although he's 6'9", he's a really good rim protector because he has a pretty good wingspan. And I was really questioning why he was out the rotation. But they have some clear needs. It's the point guard position, and it's the backup center position. They have a $9.7 million trade exception from Ibaka, and they have 7 players on the roster making $10 to $17 million.
They can make some moves.
In terms of targets, I look at Fred VanVleet as a potential target because of how he's played with Kawhi Leonard in the past, and he's an instant upgrade defensively. I don't think he's a true point guard they need, but he has some playmaking capabilities that can ease off the load of guys like Paul George, who Paul George has been the point guard for the Clippers this season. But Clippers players, they still feel like they need a traditional one. And if it's not Fred VanVleet, I think it's Mike Conley. Mike Conley's averaging like 6 assists, 7 assists per game in Utah. He's crucial to what they do. If they can get an upgrade like that, I believe in this team. But the problem is that the Clippers don't have assets that you like. Like, their young players are Jason Preston, Luke Kennard, Amir Coffey. Yeah, shout out to Jason Preston, who's on the show. And you have second-round picks. Brandon Boston. Those are their young players. And because they haven't had much opportunity in the league to show what they can do, they really aren't viewed as, I guess, positive assets in an entire landscape. So it's a tough sell. If I'm negotiating with the Raptors, am I going to tell you, oh, listen, I'll give you one first-round pick because they don't own most of their first-round picks. They can't trade them. They can only trade one, the 2027 one right now. I'll give you this first with Brandon Boston and Amir Coffey. I don't think that moves the needle for any team.
It doesn't.
And I agree with you because you can see it in a lot of their sets. They come into the offense. Teams are pressing because when you have a wing, you kind of want to put a little guy on him, kind of press the issue. And then a lot of their guys are not traditional point guards, so they don't understand pace too well. They don't understand timing, setting an offense. So a lot of the times they take a long time to get into their offensive sets. And even then, it's just a lot of one-on-one work. They trust their guys against your best guy. They run a lot of pick and rolls. So a point guard would definitely help that out in that scenario. But, if they get a point guard, I'm still high on the team because when you have Paul George, Kawhi, it's a big thing. But
championship, still feeling it?
In the West, you could see it, health
Over
is.
the Kings?
Would you
They could beat the Kings.
Nuggets?
That's a tough challenge.
Do you think the Timberwolves would be willing to trade with the Clippers
No.
because they're in the Western Conference?
Not even that. They don't even have anything they would take.
Like, is D'Lo worth multiple firsts?
They don't even have most of first to give.
I agree with that. I'm not saying that.
I mean, I think like a player like, this is unrealistic, but a player like Tyus Jones would be huge. For a
Yeah,
team
that
like
is
the
pretty
Clippers.
unrealistic.
But like something like that, something within that realm.
Tyus Jones is one of the best backup point guards in the game.
They love Peyton Pritchard.
It's too small.
I feel like why don't you like John Wall?
It's not working.
Well, he's been hurt.
But when he was playing, he can't shoot.
He can't.
He still thinks it's 2015.
Mm-hmm.
He just doesn't fit with this because he's a different type of playmaker. He's not a free flowing playmaker. He's more of a like
Transition playmaker.
Transition, set you up in a pick and roll, but he's not like a free flowing type of playmaker.
Got
like
it.
Tyus Jones, you see a lot of his play styles free flowing, give the ball out, make quick decisions, make the extra pass. John Wall is more of a ball playmaker, like ball dominant.
I got you. I understand.